Okay, the recording is on. So we have been conducting ourselves, and I want to say thank you for that because the level of distraction has reduced. You know, when we are working in a project, when your team are doing well, try to appreciate what they are doing. Don't just all the time be, you are not doing this, you are not doing that. So I appreciate that. So um I'll start presenting. I'll try to be fast, and I'm not having any other class tonight, so I'll give you more time to interact, ask questions after the class. Okay, here we are. Like I stated earlier when we were starting this project management methodologies, I said we are going to look at agile project management. We are going to look at waterfall. We are going to look at PRINCE2. And I said that we'll still have other types of project management methodologies like extreme programming and others. But these three is enough to get us started, So yesterday we've completed agile methodologies, and if we follow up with a guide, try to read up all the Scrum guide and look around at scrum.org. That is a very good way to start. And don't just start trying to pursue certification. Try to understand it first. Yeah. Certification, they are good, but understand it is the key, understanding and how to apply it. Okay. We look at waterfall approach. Waterfall is what we have been, a lot of companies, everybody, most people in project management are using waterfall. And companies, or even up to date, are beginning to, it's just at their early stage of agile approach. They are beginning to adopt agile. So a lot of companies are still migrating from waterfall to agile. And those who have migrated, they are still having one leg in waterfall and the other leg in agile. What am I trying to say? The point I'm making here is that we shouldn't look down on waterfall. It's still very much in vogue, and that is what we are going to look at. So what's waterfall? Waterfall approach is a sequential project management approach that divides the project life cycle into distinct phases, with each phase completed before moving to the next phase. The phases typically include requirement gathering and analysis, which we call that area we call discovery stage or initiate stage. Then we'll have design, that is solution design. Then we'll have implementation, and we'll have testing. Then we'll have deployment, and we'll have maintenance. So that is the way waterfall divided the life cycle. And each phase of the life cycle, that's why we call it waterfall, is so much using dependency method. So you can see the when we are looking at tools, methodology, techniques, we look at Gantt charts, we look at extreme, we look at critical path method. All these methods are You see it's their approach we use in Waterfall. So because of that dependencies, each stage in Waterfall, you need to finish each stage before you move to another stage. And that is Waterfall for you. So it's because of the nature, that's why it is called Waterfall. That's why the name is derived from, you can see it here from this diagram. From analysis you must finish the analysis. This analysis, requirement gathering and analysis, we call it initiate stage. Some people call it discovery stage. So you have to finish this first stage before you come down to the next stage. You have to finish this second stage, which is solution design, before you come to implementation. You have to finish this implementation before you come to testing, and you have to finish testing before you come to maintenance, and then you finish, you can close there. So this is, you can see the way trickle down, the way it started flowing, like the way water, if you look at the roofing of a house, that's where this name was, that waterfall. The water keep on falling down. Water cannot go up. While water is falling down from the roof, it keep drilling. Because you have to pass one stage of the roofing house before it, so it can like step or staircase, you are climbing up. So that is how it looks like. It does not go up, it's come down. So that is, and when we have a delay in one stage, it delays the other stages. So you can see this is dependency. All of them are dependent. You see, design stage is depending on analysis, and implementation is depending on design stage. So you can't start until you finish this. So that is why we call it, unlike agile approach, where whatever the product owner decide is, product owner can decide, let us implement this before we can implement this. So it's whatever the product owner prioritize, whatever the product owner say that this is my priority, that is what everybody follows. But in waterfall approach, there is not you must follow this approach. There's not like this is my, it must be kind of sequential in nature. So, and this is what we are doing today. Even in this our project, we're still using waterfall. So when we are looking at coming to implementation stage, when we are going to start applying agile method is when we get to this stage, number 3, this implementation stage in our own, then we apply agile methodology. And that's why I said we can combine waterfall and the agile, because with so many companies I work, they are still working, combining 2 of them together. So call it Wagile, waterfall and agile, call it Wagile, but it's not an official name, but it's just a nickname we call it within the industry. So that is how it works. So let's look at the key phases of this waterfall. Number 1 is requirement gathering and analysis. In this requirement gathering and analysis phase, projects stakeholders define and document project objectives, scope, and requirements. The requirements are typically gathered through interview, workshop, and documentation review, and serve as the foundation for subsequent phases. And this is where the business analyst, you play a very vital role at this stage, where you do your requirement gathering and analysis. Project manager equally plays role, because project manager need to make sure that you are doing your work within the timeline, and everything is within the budget as well. So there is need for monitoring, tracking, assign. In this area, you can do assigning. The project manager can tell you. So unlike I said in Agile that the project, the Scrum Master does not assign tasks to the team members working as developers. When we talk about developers in Agile, we even captured business analysts. I say that the project manager doesn't assign tasks, but here the project manager needs to do in this waterfall, assign responsibilities, assign tasks, monitor tasks, and follow it up, do review. So you must make sure that everybody is doing their job within the time allocated for them to do their job. That's how you monitor for risk, to make sure there is no delay, looking at all the critical part areas. So once this stage is over, you cannot start the define stage until this stage is over. So we come down to the design stage. We call it define stage, we call it design stage. But the main name here is solution design. This is where you design the solution. And the business analyst working in these two areas can be called two different names. I want to clarify this. So just because we are here now, because these are things we are going to talk more when we start business analysis. Here, the business analyst here is just called business analyst. We call it business analyst. The business analyst that does the requirement gathering and analysis. Then the business analyst that works within this solution design, we call that business analyst technical business analyst. So if you are looking for a job, because very soon so many of us will start applying, so you see so many jobs, you think I'm not qualified for this job. It's not the kind of business analyst I am. They are looking for technical. I'm just business. No. If you understand it very well, the business analyst working here is called technical business analyst within the design stage. Why do we call them technical business analysts? It's because they are translating this business requirement at initial stage or at requirement gathering and analysis stage. All the requirements we gathered is still called business requirements. This is what you capture this requirement from the stakeholders. This is what they want, their need, their expectation. So based on their expectation, you analyze their expectation, their expectation, and you come up with a business solution. Business solution is always IT solution, such as enterprise applications. So all these enterprise applications, to implement the enterprise application or the solution, you need to design the solution. You cannot implement without designing. So for you to design it, you have to translate this business requirement into technical requirements. So what are these technical requirements? Technical requirements is user stories and acceptance criteria. That is what we call technical requirement. Use cases, mock-up, wireframe. These are way of you trying to design it technically. So that's why we call it technical requirement. So in this design phase, project team develop detailed design specification and architectural plan based on the requirement gathered in the previous phase. The design phase often include activities such as system architecture, user interface, and database design. When I talk about system architecture, these are what we're talking about, user stories. So that is the way it is. After the designing, it's just like, it's very simple. Let's use even a civil engineer, not even in IT. What the civil engineer does is, after capturing the requirement, whoever is the business owner will capture the requirement, and then they'll pass it over to the civil engineer. Then they tell you, we want a duplex. This is how the duplex, this. And then you, the building engineer, will then design the house that will pass over for the team that will then start building the house. So when this design is finished, the implementation starts. So you can see the way they are flowing stage by stage. Now, if you're looking at it, it's very difficult to miss any other stage, jump a stage and move to the other. It's not possible. So the implementation stage, in this implementation phase, project team translate the design specification into executable code or tangible activities or tangible deliverable. Deliverable now, they are now building these user stories into transforming it into a tangible features in a software or in a product. So looking at this particular document or this particular software we are using, it's called a product. This software we are using is called Google Doc. I always use it because I don't want to start let us go and use WhatsApp or let us use Facebook while we are working on a software. This is a software, one of the best softwares in the whole world. You know, even Facebook is not better or bigger than this software, because every organization, every company, everybody uses this Word document. If you are not using it from Microsoft, you are using it from Google or so. So this is features. So after designing this as a user story, during the implementation, you start creating it into, for instance, this particular file, you see these are various user stories. All these things we have seen user story, but now they have been built and it has now become a tangible feature in this product. All these new and open, copy, they are all user stories. So at this stage, this is the time as implementation stage. That is when we'll start building them, translate into executable code and tangible deliverable. The implementation phase involves coding, programming, configuration, customization, and integration of software components and systems, just like I said. So that is what is, either you are coding from the fresh, you're building it fresh coding. This is what the developer does. That is programming, or configuration. Configuration is white label. So many softwares companies are using. Companies, they don't go and start developing from the scratch. Most companies, only few companies that go and start building from the scratch. Even social media. I've got a social media I'm going to introduce you people at later. So we have a lot of, please put yourself on me, it's for your own good. So because that I won't be having echo. So the point I'm making here is that what we are doing at implementation is coding and configuration. During configuration, we start configuring white label into the kind of need the company want. And then customization, you customize it the way it suits us. The way company A want to use Dynamics 365 CRM is not the way company A want to use. So different companies can customize it into the way they want it to be. A lot of workflow automation, you do the way you want your workflow to be automated is not the way company B want their workflow to be automated. So things you want to integrate in your own might not be the company A might want to integrate LinkedIn into their CRM system. Company A or company C can say, no, we don't want to integrate LinkedIn. That is not where our customers are there. All of them are in Facebook, so we need to integrate. So these are, all of them are called implementation. And these are work of the developer. These are what the developers does. They do the coding, they do the programming, configuration, customization, integration of all the software component and the system. Once all these are done, the next thing is to move to testing. So that is how we do this. Sorry guys, let's so then when we get to testing, this is where we have to do our testing. All these user stories we've created, we've developed into tangible features. This is the time we need to test them. When we are creating a user story or writing a user story, this is the core functions of business analysts, more especially technical business analysts. You create acceptance criteria. Every user story must have at least one. You can have up to 2 or 3 acceptance criteria. So after creating user story and acceptance criteria, after the implementation, every user story needs to be tested against the acceptance criteria. So during the design, you create a user story, you create acceptance criteria, you create test cases. These are what is going to make up the product backlog that the developers are going to work on. So you will use test case to test user story against the acceptance criteria. So that is what we do. And you cannot start the testing until the implementation is over. So in the testing phase, the project team verifies and validates the functionalities, performance, and quality of the project deliverable. Testing activities may include unit testing, integration testing, and system testing, user acceptance testing, and regression testing. These are various testing. You might still do all the testing, you might just do few testing depending on what you've done. If you didn't do any integration, there's no need of doing integration. But one testing you cannot escape is this user acceptance testing. A user needs to test it to make sure that it works, because they are going to use it's not the developer that are going to test. It's the person that are going to, this software is developed for, that is going to do the testing. So that is how it is going to be done. So this is things we are going to do when we start business analysis, not here in project management. We'll look at it in details. So then after the testing, deployment. In the deployment phase, the project team release the completed project deliverable to end users. or customers and transition the project from development to production. Deployment activities may include installation, configuration, training, and user support. So during deployment, after the testing and everything is good, the stakeholders are very happy, then time for deployment. We have two types of environment. We have production environment and we have development environment. Development environment is where the project team are working, developing or configuring or implementing the software. Let me use the word implementing the solution. Once the implementation is over, tested, and everything went well, then it's time to move it from why I'm trying to use this particular, all these terminologies, because we need to understand all these terminologies so we can start using them, because we're becoming the IT pros. So we have to be using the necessary terminology like development environment, production environment. You must know what development environment and production environment. When the software is in development environment, the developers are still working on the software. But when the testing is over, we move it to production environment where the public can start using the software. So which can be done through installation, configuration. So many of you that were closely following me, you know, when I just finished developing the GoCabu mobile application, you know, we had to do some kind of closed test, which is within the dev environment. You remember that within the dev environment. So you see, we did it, that was in development. But now we finished all the dev testing and all the testing is over. And now we've moved them to production environment. So if you go now to Google Play Store and search for GoCabu, GoCabu is live there. Both customer and driver application is live. If you go to Apple Store and search GoCabu, GoCabu is live there. Both driver and the customer application is live there. We are no longer in the dev environment. We are now in the production environment. Now there's other application like Service Niger, which we are still working on, is still in the dev environment. So these are various environments which our application or softwares can be. So once the testing is over, deployment is over, the next thing is we don't just end there according to Waterfall, because this is software. It requires constant maintenance. So the maintenance phase, the project team provide ongoing support. And now this particular support is becoming very, very the role. Before there is no such role, but now there is so much demand for the role of this support. We call it application support analyst. There's high demand for application support analysts these days. They are not part of this development team. They are not, it's only application that is deployed that they can be, they can work on. So they work and maintain the application, because all this application requires ongoing maintenance and support. So in the maintenance phase, the project team provides ongoing support, maintenance, and enhancement to the project deliverables to address issues, bug, and change requests reported by the users. Maintenance activities may include bug fixes, patches, updates, and enhancement to improve product performance and reliability. So that is what the maintenance. So it's an ongoing. So this is the 5 or 6 key stages captured in waterfall environment or waterfall approach. Then what are the benefits? Let's look at the benefits of this waterfall. Waterfall is a very popular approach, very, very popular. So number 1 is clear and structured project progression through predefined stage. For those people that are very, very principled in nature, plan their work, everything, this is what suits them. They are very good for, waterfall is very good for them. You know, some of them will always tell you this is not a plan. They are people that they are so rigid in their mindset. This is not a plan. A lot of people are like that. This is what waterfall, it must follow. It's a comprehensive documentation. So what Agile used to mock waterfall is that Agile is criticizing waterfall, saying that working software is better than comprehensive documentation. And waterfall criticized Agile, saying that Agile is a cowboy approach. So these are because they believe that waterfall believe that Agile, they don't do thorough planning. They just jump in and start implementing. That a project ought to be thoroughly planned. But waterfall Agile is now saying after all this series of documentation and the software comes out and is not working, doesn't make sense. So number 2 is well-defined requirements and deliverables at each phase. Suitable for projects with stable and predictable requirements. Easy to understand and manage for stakeholders unfamiliar with Agile practices. So these are the key benefits, you know, and it comes with its own challenges as well. The challenges here is limited flexibility, you know, to accommodate changing requirements and priorities. So that's the key problem or key challenges working in we are facing working in Agile waterfall environment. Limited flexibility is a bit rigid. Not that we can't, you know, capture changes, but it requires bureaucratic documentation before a change can be implemented in waterfall. You need a lot of approval. Limited stakeholder involvement and feedback until late in the project lifecycle. Unlike in Agile, where you constantly engage stakeholders, every now and then, any small feature you deliver, you need to call stakeholders to demo before the stakeholders. But in waterfall, is not that way. But we still do our stakeholder, find a way to manage stakeholders very well as well, but not as we used to engage stakeholders in Agile approach. High risk of project failure if requirements are misunderstood or misinterpreted. This is one big problem here. It means the business analysts here need to be very diligent and they need to do their job very well. Because when the business analysts captures wrong requirement, and the team started the implementation, is going to be difficult to correct, because by the time the stakeholders will come to review, you've already almost finished building a full product, and finding out there is a situation or what there is not what the stakeholders want that the business analyst captured. That's a big problem in Waterfall. It's a big risk. Difficulty in adapting to unexpected change and changing project during project execution. IT projects or IT environment it changes it's highly volatile. You know, we see what is going on in the ecosystem these days. You can be working on a particular solution, the next thing you see another company is doing another, marvelous thing. So you have to try to make, if you have competitors, you have to be on your game. So for instance, looking at our own application, we're developing, let me use Gokabu software, for instance. We are meant to use it for bidding, but we've developed a bidding, and now we see our competitor, the major competitor we have is InDrive, not even Uber, because our product and Uber product are different. Our application help you to bid. The customer will give power to the customer and the driver to bid. But in Uber just give you a quote, a predefined quote. But our own is flexible, trying to recognize customer and then the driver. So, but if we are building on this, we've just captured this bidding, and we find out that there's an additional, maybe our competitor InDrive, they've captured another requirement that even uses artificial intelligence to capture the estimated, although in our own we have estimated price you can leverage on, but you have another feature, maybe artificial intelligence. So we see that they are now putting us on a high jump to. So if you are using waterfall approach, you cannot quickly react to changes like this when there is a change in the market. If your customer is using waterfall, is using agile, and you are using waterfall, they will always be one step ahead of you, because by the time you try to respond to stakeholders, try to follow the bureaucratic nature, they've already used agile to add the change immediately, and they will be on their move. They will always be on the move. So, well, I'm not trying to be an evangelist of any, I'm just analyzing technically. So I'm not supporting agile or supporting. It's left for you to choose whichever one you want. But like I said, I'm using both of them. I'm a project manager and I'm a Scrum Master. So, conclusively, the waterfall methodology offers structured and sequential approach to project management, suitable for projects with stable and well understood requirements, while the waterfall methodology provides clarity and predictability in project progression. It may lack the flexibility, adaptability required to address rapid changing business environment and evolving customers' need. So this is where agile is attacking. It lacks is agile attacking waterfall here. This is the biggest flaw of waterfall. It lacks the flexibility and adaptability required to address rapid changing business environments and evolving customer need. And this is what Apple used to flog Nokia. So that is it about waterfall. It's not a rocket science as we might be thinking it is. So if you capture this, my presentation very well, then you are good to start. All you need to do is, we've done a lot of things like you can start applying some of all these our techniques, our tools within this approach, and you deliver your projects on time and on budget and within the specified standard. So if you got a question, just keep them. Let's finish with like I said, we need to finish today. Finish PRINCE2, then we can take the whole question together. Then we come to PRINCE2. PRINCE2 is very, very popular in UK. It's actually started from UK government. They are the people that introduced this PRINCE2, and is popularly for managing projects in controlled environment. So it's got is a kind of a combination of, have a lot of similarities with waterfall, but there are some areas they do not agree. PRINCE2, like I said, project in controlled environment. That is the meaning of this PRINCE. You see, projects, PR is projects. You see, IN is in, then C is controlled, and E is environment. And 2 can be a second version of this PRINCE. So we call it PRINCE2. So you see it, PRINCE2 is, the full meaning of PRINCE2 is project in controlled environment. So it's a structured project management methodology. Just like I said, that they have a lot of things in common with waterfall. Waterfall is structured, and PRINCE2 is structured as well. So, and is a methodology developed by the UK government to provide common framework for project management effectively. PRINCE2 is based on 7 principles, themes, and processes that guide project planning, execution, control throughout the project life cycle. These are the 7 principles of PRINCE2. Number 1, continued business justification. And in this, both project managers and BAs, like when there is a business case, the business case is to justify the value, return on investment, expected benefits of a project. PRINCE2 believe that a project, to continue to be in existence, it must maintain the status quo of providing a particular value. This is where we look at cost-benefit analysis. After the cost-benefit analysis, which we are going to look at in business analysis, cost-benefit analysis is when we do analysis, we identify the cost and we identify the benefit. And then we subtract the cost from the benefit. And if it is positive, then we'll have a justification for being in that project. If it is negative, meaning that the cost is bigger than the benefit, there is no justification. You can't be in a project that doesn't bring value. The value is after looking at the cost and it's still viable. Then that is so. According to PRINCE2, the project must be continually bringing value or bringing something to table. Once the project is no longer viable, it should be stopped. That is according to PRINCE2. So, PRINCE2 project must have a valid business case that justifies the investment of resources and efforts. The business case outlines the expected benefit, cost, risk, and return associated with that project. So there must be a cost-benefit analysis in a project within the business case. So that is the PRINCE2. They believe that there is, UK they don't like waste. There must be value in everything they are doing. Unlike so many of us looking at so many projects we execute in Africa, they cannot even state the value of that project because so many of them, they just want to build a project to see a big structure so that so many people will see this governor or this state is building this to impress the people. But what is the benefit? They can't even say this is the benefit. We spend so much money building a very big stadium. So much money building a stadium. If you want to do the analysis of, for instance, the stadium in Abuja, compared to the cost, how many times is that stadium being used on a monthly basis? What is the return of that stadium to the economy of the nation? We don't have a good football league. They don't even use it. If you go to National Theatre, how many times we spend a lot of money because we come to UK and you see a very big theatre, National Cultural and Art Theatre. We want to copy it back home. Then we'll come to UK, we'll see Emirates Stadium, we see Wembley Stadium, we'll see Old Trafford. We want to copy them back home. But this stadium we are looking at in UK is generating millions for the UK government because every day, every weekend, there is football thing going on there, making a lot of money. Even if during the weekdays, there is a lot of training going on there. But we'll come to Nigeria, we build a very big stadium. After building a stadium, then we'll use that stadium. Maybe once we do football, we do a political rally, they will use it. And that's it. That is not a good investment. And we do not have good hospital. Before you can do any simple operation, kidney, everybody is going to India. We don't have hospital. These are something that people use on daily basis, bringing constant value to the nation, to the common people. But we don't do that. But the one, because everybody wants to see big stadium, according to PRINCE2, this is where we need to evaluate. And if we consider that it doesn't bring value, no matter the status or whatever social status we want to portray, it doesn't work that way according to PRINCE2. Then learn from experience. PRINCE2 encourage project team to learn from past projects, both success and failure, and apply lesson learned to improve project planning and execution. And that's why in so many projects we see, we try to keep on doing our lesson learned on weekly basis. It becomes a status meeting that we must do our lesson learned to capture our lesson and work from that mistake. This lesson learned, Agile as well, does capture their lesson learned through project sprint retrospective, where they do the evaluate the outcome of the where did it go wrong, where do we need to improve. So lesson learned is key. It becomes a document we can fall back on as reference point. Then there should be defined roles and responsibilities according to PRINCE2. These are things they specify to be very important to them. And looking at what we are doing, so what we are doing, to be honest with you, we pick the best out, and that is what every company today, what they are doing. PRINCE2 have the best of it. Waterfall have got the best of it, and Agile have got the best of it. What company does these days is they pick the best out of all these three methodologies and use them. Like this define roles and responsibilities. Every company does this. Even if they are working in Waterfall, you see them, they do their racing metrics to define rules and responsibilities at the early stage of the project. And this is what the PRINCE2 is preaching. Define clear rules and responsibilities for project stakeholders, including the project board, project managers, team managers, and the project support, ensuring accountability and ownership. So we've seen this in action through racing metrics. Then manage by stages. You see, this managing by stages is equally applicable in Waterfall. PRINCE2 divide the project life cycle into manageable stages known as management stages with defined objective, deliverables, and review points. Each stage must be planned, monitored, and controlled to ensure progress and quality by the project manager. So this is equally applicable in Waterfall approach. Then number 5 principle of PRINCE2 is manage by exception. Empower project managers to make day-to-day decisions within predefined tolerance, but requires escalation to higher authority if tolerance are exceeded or issue arise that cannot be resolved within the project management within the project manager's authority. So this is where they now started seeing the project managers as being so authoritative and bossy, because PRINCE2 has given them that authority to take decision on day-to-day basis. You know, they have the power to manage that project. The power can only be escalated if they feel that it cannot be managed, but they have power to do things. Even it's all these days they're beginning to limit the power of project, because the project manager have got the power to, you know, say that I'm not working with this team member and you get fired. So the project may have the power to fire you. But these days, such activities are being limited that even a project manager, before you can, the HR, even the HR, they are trying to, find a way to control this, because the powers becoming too much. And when this power, the project managers these days, there are so many of them, the power gets into their head. So, but PRINCE2 is here. This they should give them power to take, decision within the project they are managing. Unlike in Agile, where the Scrum Master is a servant leader. So you lead by, as a servant, serving others. You always try to be diplomatic, trying to be, being a good person. And the sixth principle here is focus on products. PRINCE2 emphasizes the importance of defining and managing project deliverable known as products throughout the project lifecycle. Product must be defined, approved, and delivered according to predefined quality criteria and standard. So they call it product. Any tangible part of a project is called a product, and it must maintain quality criteria and standard. You see here at this point, you see that like PRINCE2 is trying to import some ideas from agile approach, where agile, they refer to their projects deliverables as products. That's why we say product backlog and things like that. So you see they have kind of these similarities. So you see here in an agile approach, we have user stories and acceptance criteria. You see PRINCE2 as well. They have criteria and standard, quality criteria and standard. And the seventh principle is to tailor to suit project environment. Every project have an environment they are suitable. You tailor your project to suit your environment. So you can see now PRINCE2 is a bit flexible. It's not trying to soften a bit. Unlike when we started with rigid approach to projects. But now, as we are going down, we see PRINCE2 is beginning to bend, trying to look at being a bit of flexible. Say tailor to suit project environment. So PRINCE2 is adaptable now. You see, adaptability is mainly within agile approach, but as we are coming down, you see, they're becoming a bit adaptable and scalable, allowing organization to tailor its principle, team, and processes to suit specific need, complexity, and content of individual projects. So this is the principle, this is the pillar where the PRINCE2 stands, these 7 principles. And then let's look at themes, various themes. Themes are here, can be look at key subject matters, in PRINCE2. And number 1 here is business case. Business case is an important subject matter in PRINCE2, because it's the business case that justifies the viability of that project. So business case ensures that the project remains aligned with organization objective and delivers value to stakeholders. So that business case is very, very important. So, and that's why I keep on telling my business analysts, you must produce a business case before you are done with me. If I don't recognize your business case, if you have not produced a business case that caught my attention, it's going to be difficult for me to reference you, because you must justify. That's what you are. As a business analyst, you are a consultant. We call you a consultant. It can be, these are names of a business. It can be functional consultant. And you cannot be consulting for companies and you don't know how to build or to create a simple business case. You are not a business analyst. Another thing here is organization. Defining clear rules, responsibilities, and reporting structure for stakeholders. We've talked about that. The project must be organized. Sorry. And for project to be organized, there must be clear definition of roles and responsibilities, because this is where the confusion starts coming in. You see some people, they become so overzealous in project, trying to play eye service to please everybody. They will not finish doing their own work. They will migrate to another person's lane and start doing it, so that maybe they will have to catch the attention of the project manager, and the project manager will say, oh, you are doing this. But when there is a clear rule, definition of rule by applying RACI metrics. So business is, if we have a tester, we have a designer, we have a business analyst, project, everybody knows their role. You as a tester, because you know how to create a process map, you can't come and jump and start creating process mapping. That's not your duty. You cannot jump and start conducting requirement gathering because you feel that the business analyst is slow. That is not your job. You can't do that, because if there is role definition, but some people will always want to, and when such a thing started happening, some people start overlapping unnecessarily. If it's my role, you are stepping into my role, my boundary, when there is, I'm not going to be happy. And when things like this start happening, you see confusion will set in. So that is where this organization comes in. We already know about RACI metrics, and these are things we do at the beginning of every project we are implementing. And quality, PRINCE2 do not play with quality. Just like every other project, more especially Agile, do not play with quality as well, because they have as they are creating a user story, they are creating acceptance criteria for that user story, and that is the quality. Establishing quality criteria, standard, and processes to ensure that project deliverable meets stakeholders' expectation. You must have a standard to measure every deliverable. So that is PRINCE2. Even in, although Waterfall did not clearly state that, but as a good project manager, every deliverable, every task or deliverable must have a way of evaluation. So, plan. Developing comprehensive plan to guide project execution, monitoring, and control. This is what Waterfall stands for. Waterfall believes so much in comprehensive documentation, and PRINCE2 believes in comprehensive documentation, and this is where their rigid nature comes in. So if you are working with within PRINCE2 environment, you must have that's what some of us are, all these tools like Microsoft project and project labor, you must use it to create a project plan. If you are working in these two areas, you must have a good project plan. So many companies today, most of them are still working within this structured environment. But for Agile, once you have a good product backlog, that is what Agile demand for you. Backlog, that's what they want. They don't want you kind of creating this comprehensive plan. They don't believe in that. But PRINCE2, they believe in comprehensive project plan to guide in project execution, monitoring, and control. Risk, identifying, assessing, and mitigation of project risk to mitigate their impact on project activities. We've done RAID management for risk. We saw how we can equally use risk register to capture and manage risk. So these are areas we can apply in PRINCE2, because this is the way they don't play. These are key areas they don't play with if you are managing a project as a project manager. In Agile, we don't need to, because in Agile we have daily meeting where we look at project risk. In our daily stand-up, we look at evaluating what we are doing and assessing risk, identifying risk at the early stage. So equally, PRINCE2, all of them believe in good risk management. Although in Waterfall, they did not specify, but we apply it as well. Then we have change. Managing changes to project scope, requirements, and deliverables to ensure alignment with stakeholders' need and expectation. If you are tired, you just it's better you just leave than disturbing other people. So we've talked about change, capturing change to project scope. PRINCE2 believe that we must have to capture change very well. We must know how to capture, good way of capturing change. We've talked about that, change in project scope, how to capture and manage it. And progress, monitor and report project progress against the baseline. We talk about baselining, project plan, schedule, budget, and quality. These are PRINCE2 in action. These are the key themes of PRINCE2. And then look at processes of managing a project in PRINCE2. These are key processes. As you see, we have 7 of them. Here we have starting a project through initiate. We initiate the project, define its objective, scope, and approach, and appointing project management team. Then we do directing of the project, providing oversight and governance of the project, including authorization of project initiation, and providing stage plan and monitoring the project progress. Then we come to initiating the project. And at this stage, this is where we do initiate the project proper, establishing detailed project plan, including business case, project management approach, and project initiation document, call it PID. Then controlling a stage, monitoring and controlling project progress, managing issues and risk, reviewing stage performance against planned activity. That's about controlling. Then managing product delivery. Managing the development and delivery of project product according to the predefined quality and standard. And managing boundaries, stage boundaries, reviewing project progress, update plan, and obtaining approval to proceed to the next management stage. In PRINCE2, before you can move to the next stage, you need to get approval. If you finish the first stage, you have to submit your report. If approved, then you move to the next stage. So you can see it's highly a bit, yeah, it's controlled. We cannot just finish and jump. Everything must be, which is a bit of applicable in other stages. Then closing a project, formalizing project closure, reviewing project outcome, capturing lesson learned, and handing over project deliverable to stakeholders. So you can see PRINCE2 is very, very, very good way of managing projects. Comparing at PRINCE2 and the Waterfall, you can see that PRINCE2 is more, is better than Waterfall for me. So benefit of PRINCE2 methodology provides common framework and language for managing project effectively, emphasize on continuous business justification and stakeholder engagement, promote clear rules, responsibilities, and accountabilities for projects and stakeholders, flexible and adaptable to suit various project types, size, and context, encourages learning from past projects and applying lessons learned to improve outcome. But like I said, every methodology comes with their own challenges. In PRINCE2, these are some of the challenges we captured. Number one, requirement documentation and governance process, which can be time-consuming and bureaucratic. You know, this where their rigid nature are being criticized. You know, big bureaucratic, may not be suitable for projects with high uncertainties and the rapid changing requirement. So this is where the agile is leading, because agile can use agile to manage project with uncertainty, projects in complex environments. You know, PRINCE2 is more in controlled environments. When we talk about controlled environment, you already know the boundaries because you are in control, you are in charge of that environment. That is PRINCE2. Project in I want you to understand these two phrases. Managing projects in control environment, which is PRINCE2, and managing projects in complex environment, which is agile. So in PRINCE2 is control. When you are in control, it means you are in charge. And when it becomes complex, uncertainty, you are no longer in charge. So where there you are PRINCE2, you can't apply PRINCE2 where you are not in charge. That's what it means. And in agile, you are not in charge because the market dictates the tune. The stakeholders, the customers dictate the tune. The customers in agile, they are in charge. So the third challenges in PRINCE2 is relies heavily on upfront planning and may struggle to accommodate evolving project need and priorities. This is where Agile becomes the leader, because in Agile, they can accommodate evolving project need and priorities and still be firing. Then the fourth challenge here is requires training and certification for project managers and team members to effectively implement PRINCE2 practice. So this is where so many people struggle with PRINCE2, because for you to call yourself a project manager, according to PRINCE2, you must have a PRINCE2 certification. But today we have millions of project managers without certification. All they know is do the boot camp, train very well, know the practice, and you don't need to be certified. Once a graduate, is enough training. If you are well trained, as a pass through the university, graduated with any discipline, with a good boot camp, you can become a project manager. But PRINCE2 do not believe. If you don't go and write that PRINCE2 certification, they don't believe you're a project manager. And this is what why a lot of people do not like PRINCE2. In agile environment, you don't need to be a Scrum Master. You don't need to be satisfied, because you can be a Scrum Master without being certified. But certified is only for you to get that certification. But so many Scrum Masters are not satisfied. If you can demonstrate that you're a Scrum Master, so many companies will hire you. If you can demonstrate that you are a good project manager, so many companies will hire you. But according to PRINCE2, no, you must have to have PRINCE2 certification, PRINCE2 practitioner foundation, and the PRINCE2 practitioner before you can call yourself a project manager. So conclusively, PRINCE2 methodology offers a structured and process-based approach to project management, providing organizations with a flexible and adaptive framework. This flexible and adaptive, you see, is not so flexible as they are trying to pronounce here, for managing project effectively. By embracing PRINCE2 principles, themes, and processes, organization can improve project governance, stakeholders engagement, and project success rates, on timely delivering value to stakeholders, and achieve project objectives. So we've seen PRINCE2 in action. What PRINCE2, all of them are fantastic. Everything they have, everything got their own disadvantage or challenge. Let me not say disadvantage, but challenges. So we cannot say because they have few challenges, they are no longer fantastic. These are three fantastic project management methodologies in the market today that has constantly delivered success to so many organizations around the world. PRINCE2 is very fantastic. Most companies here in UK, that's what they are using. But so many of them, there's some like issue of PRINCE2 certification. They don't ignore some of others and apply the best practice of PRINCE2. And they go to Agile, take the best practice of Agile, add everything together. And like I said, most of them are using hybrid approach in project management, So because there is no law that regulates you that you must do this or you must not combine this. It's the way organizations decide to approach their project. That is where every organization, they have project governance team. project governance team is not the project manager. So that governance team is where they decide how they manage their projects. So that is most project governance team, they have project program directors. These are mainly people that are heading they decide the approach they are going to use to manage their project. So if they decide to pick the best of PRINCE2, Agile, and Waterfall, you cannot say no, because there is no law that says it must be this way or it must be that way. And because of these flexibilities, companies are trying to enjoy the best of all. So that's why it's good to know all of them, and that's why I'm, exposing you to all these methodologies, so that whichever company you find yourself, whichever methodology or approach, if they are combining it, you must know. Don't say that Mr. Charles said that we should not combine it, or if they are. So that is it. So with all these exposures, these are the, I'm not saying that this knowledge here, but with this, I can bet you are an experienced project. If you can apply this very well, you're already an experienced project manager. You won't call yourself a junior project manager. But the problem I'm having is that so many of us will not practice. If you ask them to do this, they will not do it. They will be interested in firing CV. Any of these terminologies they see here, they will rush and add it in their CV and be sending without even trying to learn it or practice it. So that is the problem. So that is it for us and project management. And the next will be looking at real-world application with GoCable. But that will be after we finish business analysis, though. So here we are back, and at this point, I'll say congratulations for following up till this stage. It's not easy. Yeah, can call you a project manager now, but I can only call you a project manager without experience. So you need a practical experience for me to endorse you. So we've gone halfway the journey. You can see you can do it. Anybody telling you cannot do it, tell the person is a lie. You can do it, no matter if you are a teacher, that you are a teacher in primary school or in nursery school, does not stop you from being a project manager. That you are a sales rep does not stop you from a project manager. That you are a medical doctor, cutting, doing surgery all the time, or pharmacy, you can be the best project manager in the whole world. And what I'm giving you here is the best of project management training. I'm not bragging, but I can be confident to present my content, and it can be of very high value. So now we need to have some interactions to capture your feedback. Like, I love working in Agile. I love customers' feedback. And that will help us to know how we modify for continuous improvement. And then know your question, know some of the challenges you're having. So going forward, we need to be capturing this our question and answer session, which will be putting on our page, so that even if you do not have time or the opportunity to ask question, you can make your comments or you can ask question there. Whenever I have time, I do follow up to respond to your questions. And responding to questions, you see that some people might be having the same challenges, and so many of us are not that so outspoken. They might not want to have come here. So feel free to ask your question, even if you are not, but I'm encouraging you, even if you don't know how to speak, you don't know how to speak, or you are English, don't be shy. Try as much as that is the only way you are going to conquer that. Like some people that knows me very well know that Mr. Charles is an introvert. I don't talk so much. I don't speak so much. I'm a very quiet person. But you can see me that at least you are liking my teaching. But because I have to do this, I have to start teaching. And I've conquered that my weakness. I've turned that my weakness into it, because see me now, that an introvert is now becoming a parrot. So, whom are we talking to? Who is the first person to talk to this night?
Bring.
So, please, some of us have been quiet too. Now we want to start. They want to start making noise. Please,
Please mute yourself.
So Juliet Ekin, is that Ekin?
It's a kine, sir.
Ekine.
Yes, sir.
Here in UK we call it Ekin.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful session. And congratulations to us. So my question is, you mentioned business case. So I want to know, is business case the same thing as use cases?
No, they are not. They are not the same thing.
Okay.
Business case is a document that justify why a project must go on. Why should we go on in that project, or why must we implement this solution? What is the benefit? So this is where you articulate, do your cost benefit analysis, you do your solution evaluation, and then make recommendation to the stakeholders. Based on this, my solution evaluation and cost benefit analysis, I can comfortably recommend this solution, because this is the cost of this solution, and this is the benefit. Seeing that the cost will drive, the benefit will drive is bigger than the cost, I recommend. So this is when we are trying, you are drafting a business case. But when you are talking about use cases is a feature in a solution. How is it being used? Who is using this feature? Who are the actors? We call them actors using this particular. For instance, in this our Google Meet, we can see who are the use cases in this Google Meet. We say the presenter, the host, the co-host, the audience. These are the users. And how do we use it? Then you say the user here, the host use this to do this and that. If you are looking at this very well, you see that there is areas you here joining, being the audience, you cannot use this particular software called Google Meet. But me being the host, I can use them. So in the use cases, these are what I do. And the use case as a host, these are the features I can use. And use cases as an audience, this is the features used. That's what we call use cases. Don't worry, this is what we're going to treat in business analysis, not in project management. But it's good to ask the question.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. It's well explained.
Okay. Gloria Mbong.
Thank you, sir. I actually wanted to ask the same question Juliet asked about business case, but since you said we are going to look at it during the business analysis class, I think
These are core functions. These are core responsibilities or deliverables for business analysts. They own it. They don't share it with anybody.
Okay.
So we're going to look at it. So, and that's it. I think we are done with our question and answers for. Okay, eBay Juliet. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. Thank you for today's class. Please, my question is, use review when a product is being rolled out.
I missed it. Can you say that again?
User story, is it the same thing as product review when a product is rolled out newly?
No. User story is actually a small piece of software. User story is the software, but that's the word we use. All the features, we capture them as users. So all these small features you see in software, they are called user stories in software, in agile project management. I'll give you an example. This particular Google Meet we are seeing is called a product. And then here we have small features in this product. Looking at this particular, here you see this is a participant. You see this icon here is participant, but when you click on this participant, this icon here, it opens up. And when it opens up, you see other smaller features in this. Like you can see in meeting, you can see mute, you can see add people. These are user story. You can see, you can raise your hands, you can put it down. These features are called user stories. Then you can see here, if you come to this footer here, you can see turn on microphone. You can turn it on and off. All these are small features in this particular application called products. The name of the product is Google Meet. They are all these small features. They are called user stories. That is what we are building. We are building them small by small and adding them. When we collect different user stories, we want to, or if we want to add up to 5 features or these five, for instance, you can see this microphone, we can see this camera, we can see this turn on caption, we can see this reaction. All these you are seeing, we call all of them are called user stories. When the product owner captures all of them and put them in a document, all of them, we now called product backlog. Then coming to the review is what we call feedback. You know, when somebody uses this particular Google Meet, you always, when we are using it over time, Google will prompt you to please review. That is, give us feedback. How do you feel about this product? And they will, if you want to give them review, you can type, and equally, they will give you option to make your review based on stars, how many stars you are giving them. If you are giving them 5 stars, it means you are happy. And if you are giving them 1 star, it means you are not happy. So why they are giving this kind of review using a scale of 1 to 5 star is because during the analysis, it will be easier for them to see 50 people give 5 star, 30 people. So that will help them to know the amount of people. But when people are writing personal review, it might be difficult to review what everybody is saying. But using that star, you can simply say, because the out of our 100% review captured, 90% of the reviewers give us 2 stars, meaning that our product is horrible. They will go back to drawing board and now start strategizing how to make customers happy. And so many of the customers trying to give reviews, some will give stars and equally write something. They will look at customers that give poor review. They will go and read up what they wrote. That will help them to know the kind of challenges they are looking at. And they will focus their attention on improving those areas. So review is feedback. Just like I'm asking you people, when I finish, give me a feedback. And once you give me feedback, it's going to help me to give you a better service. And when I'm saying give, go to Facebook, give me feedback, talk about it, tell us how you feel, whether you like it, give us thumbs up. If you are not happy, tell us you are not happy. You're actually helping us, you know. But why some people are not, if you're talking about review, see some people will always go, even if you are doing they always go and they criticize what you are doing. Some people don't like it. Some people see it as witch hunting, not a review. Because we have a, while you're doing review, you can do constructive review, not criticize. When somebody is criticizing you, it's difficult and different than when somebody is actually giving you. So these are some of the things we'll talk about in review. So we know what to review. When somebody is reviewing my work, I know when somebody, and when somebody is just trying to talk down on you, you should know. But in product, this is what review is all about. And this is what, just responding to your question, review is different from user stories. They are 2 different things. They are not they are related because it's all about software and product application and things like that. So
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, we have Chinonye Wabia. Okay, you reduce, if you put your hand down. We have Favor.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. This is Chinonye.
Okay, but
Thank you so much.
Okay, then.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
So you made mention of projects that are very rapid, like technology-based projects that they are usually better done in an agile environment. Assuming your organization is already working in like a controlled kind of environment and a project like that comes up, can it be managed in a controlled environment, like IT, maybe website or something, something in the IT field? Can it still be managed using the Prince?
Yeah, it depends on what the organization wants. So we manage most of the IT projects, software projects in agile environment. Doesn't mean we do not manage them in other environments like Waterfall and PRINCE2 environment. But we are saying that it's better. So if you are a business analyst, sorry, a project manager, you can advise them that based on this project, it doesn't mean, companies, like I said, companies uses different approaches. It's not, there is no law that regulating them that once you say you are going to use a agile approach, you cannot use Waterfall. So it's left for the organization to take this. You can make a recommendation for them if you're a project manager, that because this is a software development and we've been using Waterfall, we can use it, we can use agile in this particular project. So you can use different approach you want. It depends on what the organization wants. If they want to listen, you can advise them. So there's no restrictions on the kind of approach you use. You know, it's dependent on organization, what they want, stakeholders want. Because you as a project manager, if you are given authority to choose, if you are given the power to choose, if you are working on software development, use agile. But if you don't have power, you can make recommendation. But if you make recommendation and they don't want to hear on their recommendation, they believe they are working on control environment or working on a Waterfall. I didn't say you cannot use Waterfall to develop software. I didn't say that. But I said that most companies, because we believe that software is complex environment. So that's why you are being exposed to all these methodologies. I said it earlier, so that whenever you find yourself, you should be able to use anyone they are using. Don't say, I didn't teach you Waterfall. Don't say, I didn't teach you PRINCE2. Don't say, I didn't teach you Agile. All these three key methodologies that are very popular, like I said, there's others, but I choose these three because they are the main popular ones in the market. So if you want to do more research, like you want to start writing theses on project management, you can go and make more research about more project management methodologies. But to get started, because you want to get job as soon as possible, we are not here for, so we don't have time for long research. So I think I've answered your question very well.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And yeah, I think everybody is happy now. And yeah, so Favor, I don't know if you are here. I've mentioned your name before. Okay, it seems
Yes,
like
good evening. I'm around, sir. Good evening, sir. Thank you for the session. Sir, please, you mentioned one of the challenges of PRINCE2 as being rigid and making sure that a project manager has certifications. I want to ask that having a certificate, is it being rigid? Is that not the right thing to do? Considering in the present world, you must have a certificate before you can be considered for an interview, or even considered to know what is inside you before you can be accepted. Thank you, sir.
So many people in Nigeria have certificate, but they can't do anything. Many graduates in Nigeria today have certificate, but I'm sorry to use Nigeria because I'm a Nigerian as well. And they can't do anything. University certificate is worth nothing these days. And that's why a lot of people are seeking for this boot camp as a supplement for them to become relevant. And we in the industry, we know this. We know that certificate is not the having the experience. So you have certificates already, and You are
Yes,
here.
sir.
So certificates is not the knowledge you are talking. We're talking practicability. So having certification doesn't really. Let me tell you, PRINCE2, I can go there, read it up, cram it, and go there. This computer-based this thing. Back, I've get my certification in 2 days, but I don't know anything about PRINCE2. Companies want experience. Let me tell you, if you are going for interview, don't go and start telling them I have a first class in. Don't do that. When I was starting, I always want to in my CV. The first thing I will come and I will put academic. I'll put a master's degree, and this I will send. I will not get any call at all. I will say what is going on. If you see my CV these days, my certificate is at the back. That is the last thing that comes into my CV. At times, I'll start telling them I have master's degree, I have my satisfied this, and they'll tell me, Charles, we appreciate that, but we are not interested in your certificate. Tell us how you do it. Tell us how do you approach a project. As a business analyst, how do you approach a project as a business analyst? We don't want to, we appreciate you have, but we want to know how have you approached a project as a business analyst before? How, where did you do that? How did you do it? Talk us through how you did it. You know, by the time you are telling them you have masters, you've already told them you have masters. And when you are trying to explain to the hiring manager how you approach projects as a business, and you start biting your tongue, you yourself already embarrassed by the certificate you already say you have. So they are interested to what can you do, and that's why you see on my program I design it in such a way that you must do it. You cannot say that Charles trained you and you don't know how to do it. That's what I want to make sure that it distinguishes my boot camp from other boot camp. The real work placement. And the real work placement here, you are not coming here to play around with me. You must do it. I take it more seriously than even this particular trainer will come here to chat. Because this is where the real training comes in. When I ask you to produce a deliverable, I'm very serious about you because I want you to learn how to do it. Something you've done practically, you don't forget it. I told you that coming here to watch here, every time you come here, you listen, you go, and you don't know what happened. You are just wasting your time. That you go and watch, all of us, every weekend, we watch up to 3 Premier League. We watch La Liga. We watch Premier League. We watch all the Syria, all of them. We watch all of them. But some of them cannot even trap a ball in the football pitch. Meaning that all these things you are watching do not make you a footballer. You have to go to the field, do the training. Some of us cannot run around the field. And so because you are watching, do not make you a footballer. Because when it comes to running around the field, you find out that you can't even run around the field. But you can say in the field, hey, why did Messi didn't score this goal? But when you find yourself in the field, you cannot even trap a ball. So the point I'm making is we believe in practical aspect of do it, not certificates. For me, certificate is good to decorate yourself because of our mindset from where we are coming from. Here in UK, most of the managers here that I've worked under do not have degree BSc. They don't have first degree. Most of them started as from internship. Some of them highest is just a college diploma. They rose to become senior managers. And you yourself, you come and start parading yourself with masters. In my boot camp here in UK, all the mentees, all my students, they all have master's degree from different reputable universities. I'm not lying. So if they have that certificate, why are they not coming to do boot camp? It's because that certificate is not about it. So passing, going to scrum.org, and you can come on, like I say, practice all the questions there. You practice them and cram all of them. Before we finish this training, and even join, some of us that have retentive memories, you can cram everything and write that certification exam, one touch. It's just a matter of how many hours you finish writing. As you are writing it, your result is coming out. And as your result is coming out, you are already certified. But you have never managed any projects in agile environments. And you go and tell hiring manager, I'm a certified Scrum Master. And I'll tell you, how do you tell me through how to conduct a sprint planning? You don't know how to conduct a sprint planning because you've not done it before. You don't even know how Jira works because you've not done it before. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Very nice.
Yeah, I took my time to say this because we believe so much in certificate. I don't believe in certificates. So, because in Nigeria, Nigeria have more professors in the whole world. With the amount of professors we have, our economy should be the best economy in the whole world. Before you become a professor here, you must have invented a lot of things. But here, somebody will just from nowhere, you hear the person, some even would bribe for them to become a professor, which is not so. Certificate means nothing, you know. Don't just talk about certificate. Let's try to get it technical, be hands-on, learn it. All right. Thank you for joining, for asking this kind of questions. And I want more engagement in our Facebook page where we'll be posting it, because this is where we answer some of key questions. So many of us be feeling, some of us feel I'm a graduate or this and that, but the world is changing. People hiring, they are beginning to see defects in our certificates. Most of our certificates have defects. So let's find a way to be more practical, and it's going to help us a lot. So thank you. I'm going to, like I said, have a session on weekend by the day. So if you are available, I'll send the link. It's not going to be live on Facebook because I want a situation where we are, because Facebook Live, people will just be making comments, and I like a situation where people can really talk, interact, ask questions, and it's more effective. So because mostly all this Facebook Live is just to generate view, and I don't want all those things. We are here for real business, not make believe. So good night, and we are stopping here tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. God bless you so much.
God bless
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, everyone. Bye.